Hello everyone, welcome to the reality talk session with Broadcast Solutions Finland. Today we have Petrus Palola from Broadcast Solutions Finland branch, who is a broadcast specialist, and I have Onur Gulenc with me from Zero Density, who's a business development manager, and myself. And today we will talk about why system integration is key to maximize the benefit of a versatile VR studio infrastructure. So before starting the session, I would like to show you Petrus actually. He has some surprises for us.
Hello everyone, it's me Petrus, like Birim already said, and I'm here at my home office in Helsinki, Finland, and because we are talking about virtual studios and augmented reality, I thought I should have something to show, something cool, and here besides me I have a small virtual studio with a team we had in our broadcast innovation days at our headquarters in Bingen. We did a small presentation, really small system, one reality engine from Zero Density, one Dream Chip Atom mini camera, and just a really small and easy elements to show. For example, we have we can imitate thunder even if the sun is shining, and if you observe closely, my face is also like affected. So this is a nice example how easy with simple things it's to do something really cool looking with Zero Density, even at the home office.
Yeah, it really changes the vibes we have right now.
Yeah. And then we can of course make logos or whatever 3D objects fly out or in from windows. We can in Finland ice hockey is a huge thing, so we can actually have a player coming to my to my house and sharing a bit. It's Jesse Puljujärvi, a big Finnish ice hockey player. Then in the small sign with the owl, we can change the cities because we have offices around the globe, and with Zero Density everything is really easy, and even in these personally for me really busy times, I'm able to do such a system quite easily because it's really easy and intuitive.
It looks really nice. And well, how long did it take you to actually make these controls and lightning, thunder?
I think for this show last year, at the end of last year, we are talking about maybe a whole setup, installing all the software and everything. It's under 2 days. Also, like it includes all the design, everything from the start to the finish. So really intuitive and easy to use. I think I learned how to use reality in less than 2 weeks when I started working with it. So it's, of course I wasn't at the first point. I wasn't excellent, but slowly by slowly you, like with any software, but it's an intuitive one for sure.
Okay, so let's move on to Broadcast Solutions. So let's introduce us, the company, what you offer, your services.
So Broadcast Solutions is a worldwide company. As you see, we are based nearly all around the globe, and we can help and serve our customers anywhere. Some nice graphics from our marketing team. We have actually the number isn't correct. We have more than 180 employees. We have been here for 15 years, 14 offices worldwide and counting, plus 400 projects, and of course counting even during these hard times, and around 60 million group volume per year. About our offering, we are doing basically anything in the broadcast industry. We are doing mobile production units, flight cases, OB vans, fixed facilities, virtual studios. We can basically supply you the whole chain from building the basic or installing the basic cabling to the really high-end programming and commissioning services. We have, of course, customer care, really good support personnel around the globe, and we also have our own control software, high human interface, and we are doing also production services, bird camera solutions. It's a flying camera crew, and they are also renting the systems and selling them. More about us. So our approach, really nice lines, nice phrases. It's a worldwide team of experts and distribution network. So we are flexible everywhere, and we can also share resources between offices to lower the big peaks of really busy times. We have a lot of know-how on IP networks and remote production projects. For example, in Finland, we did a huge remote production setup for Finnish ice hockey, which was a huge success and is a good example for the whole globe how to do remote production in a cool and innovative way. We are manufacturer independent, and we can basically supply the customer what they want. And our goal isn't, we are approaching the whole scene in a way that we are doing what the customer wants us to do. We are independent from manufacturers, and we really try to serve our customer base in the best possible way. And of course, because we are talking about virtual reality and virtual studios, we can also do all kinds of really innovative case-based solutions for go to virtual studios, also to support our customers during these hard times. All right.
So let's move on to broadcast solutions and zero density. How are roads crossed? But before that, were you using any virtual studio technology as a product offering before Reality Engine?
Actually, we weren't. We were looking for a really nice and also price competitive solution. And zero density was the best one already at that time in 2018, and we recommended that system to our Finnish customer stream team, which took our advice, and they bought a zero density system with 3 cameras in 2017 actually to cover Finnish horse racing studios in Helsinki, Pasila. So that was the first contact with zero density, and due to that success on that project and a really happy customer, we then, as I mentioned already, we built a huge ice hockey remote production setup in Helsinki. We also built a studio to support that whole concept of playing simultaneous games. And the customer, Telia, a Finnish telco company, wanted to use the same kind of system than was used in horse racing, and we told them that it's zero density, and hey, that's the way to go. And we built in a really short time. We built a 3-camera full robotic, nice green screen studio for ice hockey. So and that was in 2018. After those 2 big and really successful stories and a lot of small ones, we then ratified a strategic partnership in 2019, and we are still on that way. We are providing, as all other services, we are providing local operational support and operator trainings. And as our name is Broadcast Solutions, we are offering turnkey solutions. You don't need to worry about anything. We can supply you also the graphics and everything. We are working, for example, with Dream Wall, which has designed both studios we have in Finland, or the sets for those productions. Belgium company that has been on this webinar series last week.
Yeah.
Right.
We started the partnership journey with Broadcast Solutions Finland, but Onur, can you give us an example? Because the example on the strategic partnership status with Broadcast Solutions, because as we just found out, it's a very big company. Its reach is global with a lot of employees and clients. So what is our partnership status?
So that's a very good question, Birim, and thanks for that. So as Petrus stated, our initial partnership, our first project was from Finland with Broadcast Solutions Finland office. But since it was a quite successful project, we enlarged our partnership with Broadcast Solutions into a worldwide global partnership. So right now they are officially a strategic partner for Zero Density, and we are pretty glad to have such a partner worldwide.
Thank you, Onur. So then let's start with this first project we've been talking about. It's the studio in East Pasila, right?
Yes, exactly. So as you see on the picture, it's a traditional L-shaped studio with one Moses Star Tracker equipped crane and 2 static cameras. It's a pretty simple talk show, so they don't need tracking on those cameras. Although I'm currently working for some upgrades that might end up to having at least one of those static cameras to be converted to tracking ones, but let's see. We are using Panasonic AKUC 3000 cameras, and for each camera, of course, we have one zero density engine, reality engine, one tracking and 2 trackless, of course. It's a 8 times 12 meter studio, and yeah, really traditional one, nothing too fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other studio, we have
before we switch in this, our engine also works with the trackless setup easily. So how was your experience with just 1 tracked camera and 2 static ones?
It's basically no problems, because it's just limits you that you can't move the camera once it's on air, but we have tally lights, so the operators know that they can't move the cameras during that time. And yeah, it's absolutely no problem regarding that. But yeah, and actually the other one is only for the host, and the host is the place is marked, so there's no even operator during the show, so they are saving on crew costs on that one. So it's quite good to have trackless cameras in that kind of easy talk show.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I also would like to say a few things in here, Birim, because I imagine that tracked camera is on the Jimmy Jeep, right, Petrus?
Yes.
Yes, and for the trackless cameras, they are very nice options because they are quite feasible, quite affordable when you compare them to tracked packages. And especially with the latest version of Reality Engine, that is 2.9, we also have a lot of virtual camera movement, even though we don't have any kind of tracking in a camera. So even though it is a non-tracked camera with a non-tracked license by Zero Density, with the latest version of Reality Engine, we have a very good movement ability inside of the virtual environment with the virtual camera. And I believe partners like Stream Team and others will be utilizing those features a lot in near future.
Thank you, Onur. Okay, let's move on to the West Pasila studio of Stream Team.
Yes. So at the other side of the railway, actually in Pasila, we have a bit smaller studio. It has a really funny, unusual shape. It's almost like a G shape. So only one corner of it is open, and that is again showing the immense capabilities of zero density, because the cameras turn almost 360 degrees, so they can use multiple different positions inside the studio without having a huge 20 meters by 20 meters green screen. That was the only feasible area or feasible studio available at that time, so we really needed to use it. So reality made it possible. We have a fully robotized studio, 2 telemetrics robotic PT heads, AKUB 300 box cameras, and one of the telemetrics robotics are attached to a 9-meter ceiling track. So so we get really nice runs throughout the nice studio. And the other one, let me see if I have a better picture. Yes, so you can see the camera inside the studio. It's a column, fixed column, so it can be taken out. It can be taken up, but it's still at that position. And actually, the operators are playing with a 3D sphere that is a cylinder that is placed on top of that camera, and it's receiving tracking data. So at all times, that column camera, even when having it lowered, it's always covered, so it can be seen on the program, which of course gives our production team the needed angles to film the show, because there's no angles because the whole set is so closed. And recently we added a Panasonic AVUV 150 PTZ camera that can be also controlled via the telemetrics control panel, which is really nice, because now we need only one camera operator for the whole show for 3 cameras. We have 3 zero density engines, like in East Pasila, and everything is ceiling mounted because we needed the maximum space we could possibly get. So everything is in the ceiling, and this studio is part of the Stream Team's big production hub. So they are taking a simple van with CCUs to the ice hockey arena, and through one fiber they are transmitting all the signals to Pasila, to Helsinki, and the whole production crew is sitting in Pasila. So they have huge savings on transport and accommodation costs, and everything is nice and easy when they can sit in a nice office doing the mixing and the replay and everything. So huge success.
In this G-shaped studio, how many different shows do they produce?
In this one, we are actually at the moment none, because of this COVID crisis. But usually they are doing only ice hockey because of the really tight schedule, and there's not a lot of free slots for other productions. So
it goes like
limiting.
Long hours.
Yeah, they are. I will talk later on about the concept, but they are talking about all games simultaneously. So the show is a long one. So so there's no much room for other productions.
Okay.
So let's move on the productions we have done inside these studios. So this is again the Finnish horse racing studio with the Veikkaus shaped table, Veikka's logo shaped table, and it's a rather dark one, and they are using quite a lot of AR as well.
I will put a link to the original video if our viewers on YouTube want to check the horse racing project.
Great. So they are doing Toto TV studios, more than 560 hours live and counting. Actually, they are still continuing these studios 3 times a week because of the Swedish horse races. They haven't stopped, so they are still doing shows from there. They are doing every day. They are doing from 11 to 23. They are doing some horse race streaming, but the studio takes place 3 times a week, and that makes approximately 140 studio programs per year. And each program, it's around 3 hours or so. We have different styles for each weekday. Here you can see the controls for that that look changement. So the operator comes in and they just press Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or generic custom or something else, and they have everything ready. So which is nice, you can actually program a lot of different things to happen when pressing only one button, and they are really easily modifiable. And also all the logo changements can be done by these simple buttons, and you can even with the reality included text generator, you can produce your own logos on real time if you have something special in mind, and you can position it on the go. So by these buttons, they basically start with an empty studio, and they add, for example, some graphical elements, a screen, some virtual lights, a logo, some colors to those elements already there, and then at last a nice picture. And actually, they are using those frames. They are sending some video feeds directly from the horse race arenas directly to the studio, so they get a nice feeling of real time doing. This whole thing is actually operated by one guy, and the same person is doing also the on-air graphics. So that shows the versatility and the easiness of zero density, because you really can count that it works, and you don't need to have one person on standby if something fails. So they can even do the same person can do the graphics simultaneously.
Great. This is one of the oldest projects of Broadcast Solutions using Reality Engine. So let's talk about this workflow of this project. How long does it take to go live? The preparation.
Actually, I wasn't with Broadcast Solutions when this project took place. I joined just after it, so I don't know, but it was quite a. I don't have the exact day counts, but the studio was designed by a Finnish company, Smart PX, and the concept was done by that company, and then Dreamwall Belgium did the design. So that's something I don't have the numbers to, but our crew Finnish, they built the whole green screen and everything, installed all the cameras. I think it's more or less 3 to 4 months, the whole time span. So quite quick. It's a simple studio, and they had already some elements inside it, so it wasn't a total rebuild. So it wasn't from scratch.
Okay, I will ask the same question for the.
Yes, please. That's something I know really well.
Okay, then we'll go deep on that one.
Yeah, great. So moving on to the Finnish Ice Hockey League studio, where they are doing, as I said, it's a G-shaped, really unusual thing, And as you can see, actually, a good point also is that the green isn't really perfectly lit. That's on early stage. The photo isn't from the final lighting final lightning set, but reality can key on really unevenly lit surfaces because of the 3D cyclorama and the actual like photos taken from that screen. So that's a really good showcase how well the Kia works. Liga Live 360 is the concept name or the show name they are doing from that studio for ice hockey, and that the name comes from the idea that they are actually looking at every ongoing game at that moment. So they are going through those and they are taking best points of each game and they are commenting if there's a goal or whatever. They can go quickly to whatever ongoing game. They can have even 7 games simultaneously running, and they have like spotters looking at those games and searching for best clips and what they can comment. And then they have a lot of surfaces and in that studio to put stuff into to like keep the connection between the ice hockey arena and then the studio. So those surfaces play a really vital role in this whole concept. Bit over 530 hours live and counting, 500 games in only 130 days. So really intense speed, and around 100 studio programs produced, and they are each around 4 hours, so long ones. They are doing a pre-game, then they are commenting on the ongoing games, and then they are doing an after game, and sometimes they are even doing a separate show after that. So those are really long hours for the whole crew. And over 10,000 video clips managed. That means the amount of MOV files with Alpha channel that we are using. You saw Mr. Jesse Puljujärvi that I showed on the beginning of the webinar. I can actually re-show him. So Jesse can be brought. This is a simple MOV file and with Alpha channel, and it's seamlessly jumps into my house and can be brought to life. So they are using a lot of those elements in this production. They are always like bringing something more to the show when showing those players doing funny stuff and some small dances even. Then we have a huge amount of customizable and like extra stuff, like a 3D Zamboni, which is an ice machine that can be taking the round throughout the whole studio, and you can actually put a logo on top of that ice machine. I don't know why, but that's fun, I think. But they have a 3D goal. They can do anything. Here we can see the surfaces I mentioned. So we have a lot of rectangular shaped on the back like posters, and then like glued logos below the ice. That everything can be changed to whatever to fully customize the look if they are, for example, doing a different league from the same studio. So they can easily change the whole look. And they have also those nice banners on top of the image with where they can quickly send whatever data they want to for example, display the current status of each game.
When we see this show, there is a lot of action, a lot of graphics, different areas that they produce content. So what are the control interfaces you use here? Are there any third-party tools?
We are using only zero density, because then we are really flexible on the modification side. So if we have those third-party applications and plugins, we are more or less locked to that functionalities, and then we need a skilled coder guy doing the modifications. But now me as a technical sales guy, I can even do the configuration myself and do the small modifications. And for example, I did the teleportation thing by myself. So that's a good proof of concept why we are doing only zero density reality on air control, only because of the easiness of the modifications and corrections.
So that,
yes, it's Onur.
I would like to ask a question here, Petrus, because I think it's an important point. So from scratch to your position, your expertise, let me say, how long did it take for you to learn about the Reality Engine, using the Reality software? Because you are existing in Finland and being a part of Broadcast Solutions Finland is definitely creating a value, and you are able to solve some problems by yourself is a value for the customers. So how long did it take for you to learn to manage something, to operate things in reality from scratch?
From scratch, it was a slow process. After it's a really complicated set, because I started with this ice hockey set, and it wasn't the best one to start with because it has so many things, and it is built by Dreamwall, who has been doing this kind of sets for a long time. So it wasn't the best thing to start with. But
not baby steps.
But now I've been working with zero density and reality quite closely for 1.5 years. So during that time span, I've come to this stage, but and that will continue because you are constantly adding. I'm not keeping in pace. You are always adding some features and some stuff, and I try to master everything, but it's impossible to keep to catch you in the run. But yeah, it's an ongoing process, but I think 2 or 3 weeks are enough. When you can really play with the software, 2 or 3 weeks are enough to master the basics. And with the zero density installation package, or the whole thing, it comes with a like basic set, and it has all the functionalities, the cool functionalities you can play with. They are pre-built. So starting with that set, if you start from scratch, I think 2 weeks is fairly enough.
So what do you think about the training situation? Like, is it easy, or how is your experience with the training people from outside of the industry?
You mean your guys, or?
No, not our guys. For example,
sorry. Now I understand. Yes. So actually, that's really easy, because our operators in Finland that are doing this ice hockey operation, which is a really actually quite a big task with all those media clips, and I think we have 10 different sheets of control panels. So that's a lot. So we actually took 2 people from outside the industry and trained them in just a couple of days. Of course, they don't know how to do the really deep setups, but because of the steadiness of the program, it doesn't crash. It has never crashed during production, during my time in Broadcast Solutions. We can rely that even an operator that is not like really deeply educated reality engineer can master the software quite well. And of course, we have support for them during the shows, so there's no issue, even with people from outside the industry.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, sorry.
So yeah, on this image you can see more of those surfaces. It's JPG image or PNG image or MOV file, MP4 file that can be sent to all those surfaces and really customize the whole view in the image. And we have also, as I already mentioned, we have a lot of like surfaces where we can display live SDI feeds directly from the arenas. So quite easy to manage after all. This is one of the control surfaces from the ice hockey set. It's only to manage the media going to those screens. So we have 4 different options, and just press take and it sends it to every engine at one press of a button. And all the playlist functionality is quite easy to use. So they are, before the shows, they are doing playlists and just running them down, and even as I said, even persons outside the industry can adapt it really easily. And like the Liga logo that was under the ice before, we can bring a map, and actually this takes us to the teleportation functionality, that small figure, small hockey player on top of Tampere on the Finland map is actually a live SDI feed coming from the arena, and then it's brought to life by taking the person in full size next to the host to an interview. This is a small clip of really straightforward workflow. I will hide myself so you can all see the whole graphics. So that's only one press of a button. So first it hides the Liga logo to better show the graphics. Then it takes a player with a nice effect to the scene, and it's again an MOV file with the player that just keyed out in post. And then we have, it's not a 3D poster, again to give us flexibility. It's a simple MOV file, also the like box with those figures, and then realistic graphics generator produces those numbers on top of that box. So everything is done on the fly and can be modified really easily. We didn't need to render anything or do something like that to achieve this kind of look. And when the camera is static, because our player is 2D, we can't move around him. So why not having also the graphics box 2D?
Looks great.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Let's take me on the corner, so it's not just someone speaking behind the images. Teleportation is a thing that has attracted a lot of customers around the globe, which has really been a great thing. And the ideas that Telia, the distributor of these Finnish ice hockey games, the Finnish telco company, wanted to achieve something different and have a better interaction between the hosts and the interview, the people or the players that are being interviewed. So here is a picture from KHL, and that's the traditional way of doing those interviews. The player can't see the host, or the other way, they can just hear us with those headphones. So there's no really interaction. It's like a phone interview.
Yeah.
What made this whole thing quite hard or challenging was that there was no room for extra crew or gear in the budget, and because of that, we needed an extremely easy and quick setup. So yeah, quite a challenge. Let's see how we did it. So here's the end result. we have a player standing on a fairly small 2 times 3 meter green screen. We have some small but powerful Lupo LED lights. Only 4 of them for the whole thing, so it's portable. And the player is standing in front of it, and actually it's the corner camera of filming the game that is leaving its post like 2 minutes before the end of each period, and the camera guy is going to and attaching the camera to the already fixed tripod in front of that green screen, and in less than 2 minutes they are ready to do the teleportation. Because every arena isn't the same and every camera person isn't doing the same exact, even I have written a really precise letter how to do it, but still there are some variations on the production side. We have done a really intuitive and quite easy to understand control panel, where with those simple commands the player can be positioned and sent to the studio, and you can basically trim every position, everything during the process to make it look nice, even if the camera angle and something like that isn't perfect. And on the right hand side you have the mask adjustment, so you can also mask if the camera isn't at the center, you can actually take also different like stripe of the image to key, so you are not limited if, for example, the camera guy doesn't know what to do. And we can also use green and blue colors because they are wearing different shirts, so some teams have some green or some blue on their shirts, so we can't use, of course, those colors in the green screen, so they need that option in there.
What type of camera you use for the player in the faraway location?
We are using actually the same UC3000 Panasonic ENG camera for that as well. That is also used as corner camera in the game. So nothing too fancy. A basic broadcast camera.
Do you have any problems with the delay? Can it be like a conversational interview?
Actually, that's a really good add to this conversation. I almost forgot it because that's really cool. We are using JPEG 2000 compression on those video lines, and the delay is around 1 millisecond, and that's a delay that allows us or the host and the player to have a really fluent conversation without any problems at all. So you don't have those delays that can be seen on many places when they are doing those with satellites. But here, 1 millisecond is a real interaction and real interview. And actually, people are also asking quite frequently how can they pretend of seeing the player in the studio if the player isn't there. That's something we actually solved with the column camera I introduced you earlier, and it's actually at the same spot where the player is. So it's the camera is masked out, but in the camera we have attached a small screen, so showing the PGM feed of the show. So the host sees the end result, and the delay that reality produces is so small that he or she, the host, can actually see if he's looking at the right like angle, because the players are also different heights. So that has also been solved by reality, by having a screen that can be seen on the end result and the camera.
You basically place the player as an AR object inside the scene. Basically the idea is that. Would it be super simplification, or well, is it like that?
Basically, it's a 2D plane, and we are just keying the green out, and it's a 2D plane that that shows the player. And when having the 2D plane facing the camera lens on the right orientation, it seems like the person is there, because as you see on the image now, the angle and the height of the lens are the same in both images. So at that with that we can achieve the same look and feel in the conversation when doing those strategic things.
Yes, great, thank you. I don't want to get too deep into the teleportation because we plan to have a dedicated session on this topic. Not that it's very complicated to do, but there are many things people are curious about on this.
Yes, and just to add one more point here is that we are, at least I believe, we are the only companies doing this frequently. So we are doing this every week when the season is going on. So the setup times are under 5 minutes, and there's no reality trained engineers doing anything. So everything is pre-programmed, and they have really limited settings available to really simplify the whole thing, and again save on costs, which was one of Telia's main things, not to have extra crew to do these teleportations. So yeah, about Telia esports series, they launched this last year, and already 2 seasons in and more than 200 games played. We did only around 20 studio programs, but yeah. And the nice thing is that we actually used an Unreal Marketplace set. It was bought from Unreal Marketplace and stripped down and remodeled to fit the esports series look. And actually behind the presentation or the hosts, you can see a curved screen with a really large screen capture of an actual CSGO game. And actually they took those clips from each map, because in CSGO you have different maps and where they're playing, and they are actually choosing, they are taking a draw before each show which map they will be playing that day. And that was also something that the operator could just click on one button and select the corresponding background video loop. So again, easy operations, and this was done from the East Pasila studio, so where they are doing horse racing. So again, one person doing the graphics and also the virtual things. And yeah, and that's it. That was a quite easy production to do, but it was actually all the studio programs were shown live on TV, because Telia's ice hockey games are behind a pay barrier. So these were shown to everyone interested.
Actually, I would like to ask a few things in here too, because there's a thing that I love about this project, which is the utilization of Unreal Engine Marketplace. So as we all know, Unreal Engine has maybe the biggest 3D asset, environments and models library available online. So I just want to ask you, did you do any kind of modifications on the set, or did you directly use it? And do you remember how much did you purchase this for? Because the numbers there are quite affordable, let me say.
Yeah, it's like IKEA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just buy stuff and do whatever you want with it. So yeah, it was an Unreal Marketplace set. We took every unneeded object out of it to ease up the cooking project, to ease up the overall rendering need, and then we we switched some materials and of course adjusted the lighting, but they were really minor things. I think it took maybe 3 days, 4 days max to do the whole integration in the studio and align all those esports series logos, because actually they can hardly be seen on that image, but there were like screen surfaces where you could put sponsors logos. For example, Montague was there for a couple of weeks or something, so those were also done on the fly. So yeah, we didn't change a lot.
Understood. I believe this is very interesting, and I find this, very amazing, let me say, because there's a show, there's a production coming up, and you need to prepare a set. You need to have a set from scratch, and you are, purchasing this, draft, let me say. I believe for quite affordable amount, and after 3 days of modification, you have a brand new virtual set, which looks very good, that you can shoot your brand new program.
Exactly. I think this was under $20 or something like that. So
okay.
We can't even speak about that price. So yeah.
Yeah,
basically nothing.
It looks way different than $20, right?
Yeah.
That is the value
exactly
that Broadcast Solutions and Zero Density is bringing to the customer in here. So we are talking about three.
That's correct.
And the number you mentioned.
And of course, this supports the gaming industry and the esports scene quite well, that we are using a game engine and then a marketplace that basically we bring virtual studios to everyone. That's also one of our key goals, that it doesn't limit to only experts that are really highly skilled and have years and years of experience.
Yes, and I would like to say one more thing. When you have your green studio, when you have your reality engines by Zero Density, you can have countlessly many virtual sets like this. So it is quite scalable.
Exactly. Moving on to actually more of this same type of productions. The speakers forum on the left hand up corner, and then on the right low corner, they are, or actually that's the same set, but that's also an Unreal Marketplace set that was only modeled, and then we programmed the screen to be a really wide, nice looking screen to serve different kinds of ideas and productions. And actually, Bright, it's a Finnish production company, and Stream Team, they bundle up to provide their customers virtual studio and webinar services. So because of course about the crisis. So we have done a couple of productions already during the last weeks, and next week we will have the next one, and a lot in the pipeline, and really short production times, low cost, but still great looking productions. And there's also an image of the E-Playoffs 2020 that were again played or hosted in the same studio that we are doing ice hockey. But as you can see, I will have some bigger pictures, but the look is totally different from the other one when you have those modifiable screens or surfaces. Key reasons why we use Zero Density or virtual studios in general is to give something more to the customer, not just an empty conference room, because as you see on this image, that was done actually by a Finnish production company, Tapaus, in really short time again, and again a nice curved screen with a big image, and some really simple elements. It's much nicer than an empty big room. And natural looking interaction. We had a lot of, again, because of the crisis, we had people connecting remotely, and that were interviewed, and we can create a feeling that the person is really there. It's not a teleportation, I know, but still the viewing angles and everything are realistic. In here, Onur, if you ask again the question, there weren't a screen, it was just green, but it was a professional presenter, so he could pretend. And yeah, so really nice looking webinars overall. And we had a lot of inputs from traditional PCs and PowerPoints that were displayed on those, some message wall applications and whatsoever that were displayed on that same wall really nicely. And then we had also excuse me,
how many projects you concluded during this period? I know you have many more.
Maybe 3, I think 4 at the moment during this lockdown period. So yeah, here's a nice picture also that people could send from their home offices that were attending the webinar, and they could be really quickly edited to a large picture, and that was sent to the zero density engines and displayed to the viewers at home. Great. On to the next one. Or actually, I wasn't present in these productions because it was the same set or same setup we were using for an other show that was, actually it was an advertisement. That's how easy it is when it's set up. Then you just fire up the show and off we go. Fast to set up, easily modifiable, flexible, and cost saving. I think I have said those four key things many times during this webinar. Then this one was actually last week. We had even a speaker for Netherlands, and everything went great. Also remote PowerPoint things and flexible inputs and yeah. Again, cost saving. I'm saying that a lot.
It became a prayer.
yeah. I think nowadays that's a really good selling point. And actually, really big companies have been attending and speaking in these webinars we have been doing with Stream Team and Bright and Tapaus. For example, Kone, a Finnish really big elevator manufacturing company. Then UPM, a Forester company, DNA, Finnish telco company, and Fingrid Oy, that is doing those electricity things in Finland. And also some live concerts were done and during those webinars to lighten up the day of the attendees. So yeah, really I think this crisis, after all, it has given something good. People are like chasing to find new ways of doing things, and I think it will definitely stay this way, that we will continue this development, and virtual studios, among a lot of different things, will be a really big deal in the future as well.
Yeah, so these corporate companies, are they doing it for internal communications or for some public events?
Mainly public webinars for professionals. For example, last week, this Frontline Summit 2020 was held to professionals doing data-related things. So the topic was data, and they were discussing about using it and its capability, or its like drawbacks and everything. So mainly productions, or mainly like for end customers, not internal things. But why not? Big companies could do something like this also for internally.
but for the moment, nothing internal yet. All right, then, as I think I already mentioned, we did Telia e-playoffs, and COVID-19 again, unfortunately, affected also this sport, and the easily modifiable surfaces gave the studio new look. As you see, it doesn't look cheap or anything. All right. Any more questions about these productions? Should I go on to our offerings or our ideas?
We have a few questions, but I want to take them at the end of the presentation, so I'm keeping them. So please go on, and we'll get to them later.
All right. Excellent.
A few more, definitely.
All right. So the custom rack mounted solutions, among many other things, OB vans, studios, radio stations, whatever, we are doing also rack mounted solutions. And one concept we have been working with many customers is this concept has really been a lot of interest, or gathered a lot of interest. And the basic ideas, the really, like shortly said, our ideas was a short setup time, again ease up the life for the operators, and bring virtual studios and a hassle-free production to everyone. Basically a plug and play solution. A 7-case system, that's all we need for a full scale 3-camera PTZ enabled. We are of course offering those Panasonic UE150s because they are the first ones to have the absolute tracking and integrated 3D stream. And it comes also with the lighting mouse, so the truss system. So it's really an all-in-one solution. And setup time, as was mentioned in the previous slide, has to be fast. It's around 3 hours, and with skilled crew and operators, I think it can be even less. For example, we have done with my colleague Pekko, we have done a lot of road shows and fairs with zero density equipment, 1 engine, 1 PTZ camera, and the setup time after we practice it for a couple of times. Basically, we had 4 cities in a row in Sweden monitor roadshow. The setup time for the last day was under 25 minutes for 1 camera system and a complete virtual studio. So that's also a really impressive thing to know about the capabilities. The case lids open as desks, so no desks to carry around. And here you can see a really simple picture. I will remove myself for a bit. So 4 operating positions, and you have all the controls, everything built in. And the graphics are done with zero density to again reduce the need of operators. And we are using multi-purpose controllers to control the whole thing. This is an idea of the brains of the system. All cases can be located far from each other, so through fiber, of course, and they can be customized. The like layout of the racks can be customized when at each venue. We have the rack 3 is for the studio, and then the other ones are for the operating room. And of course, UPS is to ensure good power, and then we are also offering our remote support services, so we can install some gear that we can always access the system remotely and help our customers if they face any problems. All right, then a nice video before we end my monologue. This was a quickly done Mary Poppins illustration. We did for a company in Finland, and that was again. I will show it again because I think it's quite nice. It was,
and one very interesting thing is they are utilizing a very tiny space of
yes.
The desk is still there.
Yeah.
That's actually one more time.
Yeah. It's a windy house, so that it is.
Yeah, so actually the set is from Unreal Marketplace. I just added the lights, and then as you can see, the person actually moved or walked from the other room to the room down there. So you can do a seamless switching of the depth of field or the place where the person is, and without moving the person, you can give an idea that the person is flying. And that was done in the ice hockey studio without moving the tables or anything. So that's also a good representation of the capabilities of zero density, and of course broadcast solutions.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Petrus.